Hello, I'm Alexa, and if you're new to this channel, what you should know is I make videos about design, careers in tech, and life in San Francisco. In fact, I've lived in San Francisco since 2012, and ever since I moved here, I've been heads down focused on building out my career in tech as a designer. Most notably, for most of my professional career, I have been a product designer working largely in the B2B enterprise software space. Maybe this is starting to ring a bell. For example, if you're looking for a job as a UX designer in San Francisco, you should probably be searching for jobs as a product designer. Anyway, this is not your average day in the life video. I hope you stick around to hear me out. It's been great working and living here in the Bay Area as a designer. The design community is huge, the tech companies are abundant, and that means, yes, lots of jobs and opportunity. But look, living and working in San Francisco is not the end all to pursuing your dream job of becoming a product designer. And I think more people should know that. So in today's video, I want to introduce you to 3 amazing product designers who I recently have gotten the pleasure of getting to know, and who have been willing to open up to show you what their day is like working as a UX designer, not in San Francisco. And with that, welcome to their day.
Hello, my name is Maddy Beard.
Hi, my name is Brianna Garcia.
Hi, my name is Natalie Weilandt, and I work as a product designer in Chicago.
And I live just outside of Denver, Colorado.
And I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
I think what I like most about Colorado and the Denver area is the attitude. There's not a whole lot of people like hustling and working all the time. Most people like to, kind of put work aside and then go hang out outside.
So I actually moved to Phoenix back in January, and there's quite a few things I like about living here. And ironically enough, one of the things I like is the weather. So it can be brutally hot between like May and all the way to even September, but after that it's just super beautiful. Another thing I like is the community. Everybody here is just super supportive in the digital space.
A lot of times when people think of Chicago, they think about the cold weather, which is definitely a thing here, not gonna lie. But there's so many other things to love about this city. We have an incredible local music and art scene. We have amazing restaurants and food. And lately, I've been interested in the tech and design scene here in Chicago. So one thing that I think is special about the design community here in Chicago is that people love this city. And people are really passionate about cultivating a community where people feel welcome and connected through relationships with others.
Currently, my role is a creative resident for Adobe. And basically what that means is I'm working for them for 1 year, and they are sponsoring a project that I'm doing. So I work on this project. It's a series of 4 apps, and they're all based around mindful design in the wellness space. And I share what I'm learning with the community. The idea is that as a creative resident, I get to take really big steps towards my career goals with the support and mentorship of people from Adobe. And in return, I really help Adobe give back to the creative community by holding workshops, sharing my process, and just getting the community inspired.
I am part of the digital team at Dream Brands, which is a health and wellness company. We create supplements for all walks of life. Our biggest brand is actually called M-Drive, which is a supplement line for men who are trying to stay active later in life. We also have a brand for women, which is called Internal Harmony, and a millennial line called Ada. Ada is my favorite brand to work on because the target audience is between 18 to 35-year-olds, and I love creating content for that demographic. Being the only UX designer at Dream Brands, I am responsible for creating the content on the websites, landing pages, social media, and emails.
So I work as a product designer at Relativity, which is a legal e-discovery software company. Basically, that means that we create software that helps our users gather, analyze, and organize data when it comes to litigation. My product area is analytics, which is a set of AI and machine learning tools that our users can use to apply to their cases. So as a product designer on analytics, I own all parts of the design process. So that's everything from the research and planning phase through to ideation and iteration, coming up with design solutions, and then I go ahead and help the developers implement the solution and work with them on making it happen. I'm also expected to help monitor and test the solution so that we can go back and iterate if we need to.
On a typical day, I'll usually wake up around 6:30 a.m. and roll out of bed at 7. Then I'll make breakfast and maybe watch some YouTube videos and just ease into my morning. Maybe take a shower, get ready for the day. Then around 8:30, I will actually start my work day. I'll sit down at my computer and really start for the first 30 minutes just kind of getting acclimated and getting my life in order for the day. So I'll check my email, check Slack, and look at my to-dos to see what's on the docket for the day. Of course, I never have meetings at the same exact time every day, but on an average day, I usually have the mornings to myself so that I can focus on deep work. So usually my deep work is either affinity mapping or sketching, wireframing, or actually going into XD and designing some screens. I like to get really focused on that for 3 hours, and then around noon I will take a lunch break. Once I get back from lunch, then sometimes I'll have a call or two, and usually my meetings are with my manager where I have a one-on-one with her every week, or with other mentors at Adobe, and sometimes with people from other design organizations where I'm helping put together a workshop or talk for their community. Then I like to end my day with work that is a bit more casual. So maybe I'll work on some Instagram posts or outline a video for YouTube or start putting together resources for my monthly newsletter. Outside of my job with Adobe, I actually have taken on a small freelance project. So I'm working for a wellness startup as their UX lead, and so sometimes after my Adobe hours, I will jump back into XD and start designing for them as well. One of my favorite parts about my design job and being a UX designer is seeing the work come together. I, this year, have started focusing a lot more on the research aspect, which is something that I wasn't able to focus on before, but I really love taking that research, which is usually interviews over Zoom, turned into empathy mapping and things like that. I really like to see those insights come together and see how they will inform the visual product that I then put together a case study for in the end.
A typical day for me normally involves me getting to the office around 9 a.m. and making myself a cup of coffee because I can't start my day without it. Next, I check my emails and Trello to see what projects need to get done for the day. Because of COVID, some of our team members are still working from home, so I communicate a lot with them through Slack or through Zoom. I check with them to see what needs to get done. One of my coworkers that is here right now is Taylor, which is our communication specialist. He's the guy who comes up with all the content and then he gives it to me to help bring his vision to life. As much as I love my job and making a difference in our customers' lives, my favorite part of my design job is probably having my voice heard and that my opinions and ideas are taken into consideration. Another perk I love about my job is hiking with the team. We have a big mountain behind our office, but because of COVID, we can't really hike together anymore, but every once in a while, it's still nice to go out and get a quick hike and just get some mental clarity. After that, it's nearly the end of the day, so I usually spend my time focusing on design projects or checking up with my teammates to see what projects still need to be finished.
Okay, so this right here behind me is the desk where I do all of my work. Obviously, if we were in the office, I would be utilizing whiteboards and running to and from different meetings, but now that we are all working from home, I'm able to manage just using my laptop and my monitor and doing everything online. Every morning, I sit down at my computer with my coffee and my blue light glasses on, and I double check my short list, to-do list for the day. I started doing this because I noticed that with our designers supporting a lot of different teams, it can be very easy to get off track on what are the actual goals that you need to deliver by the end of the day. So whenever I start to feel like things are getting a little hectic, I double check this list and I make adjustments if I need to. But this list is meant to be just kind of a scratch pad for really the most essential goals that I need to complete by the end of the day. From there, I will typically check my Jira dashboard. On my Jira dashboard, I have a lot of different filters that allow for me to monitor my different development teams and the health of their development tickets. It's something that helps me keep an eye on a lot of different teams at once, and also my developers and my PMs work in Jira, so I can communicate and answer questions for them that they might have commented the night before through Jira. The first meeting of the morning is always my stand-up meeting, so usually I'll go to my stand-up meeting if my development team is working on something that I've designed. This meeting is just a short meeting where everyone shares a quick update as to what they were working on the night before or the day before, and I join that to just kind of be up to date on what they're working on and answer any questions that they might have. From there, it's kind of hard to pin down what exactly a typical day is for myself at Relativity. I have some days where I'm conducting a ton of research, and I have other days where I am only in Figma and I'm just designing all day. Yesterday, for example, was a big design day and I hardly had any calls. I just was focused on being in Figma and updating all of my design projects so that my developers and my PM can get up to date with the most recent decisions. My favorite part of my job would definitely be talking to users, whether we're showing them our designs or we are getting feedback from them during a client discovery call. It's always really interesting to hear their reactions and what they think. And I also think it's really rewarding to know that eventually the work that you're working on in Figma is going to be making someone's life and daily job easier.
What was the job search like finding your current role?
It's funny because with my current role, it's very much like a career accelerator. Like it's only 1 year long, this job for Adobe. And so it's a little bit different than any other job I've ever applied for. It's basically like you pitch a project to the Adobe community team and they decide if they want to kind of have you in the program, which means that they're basically sponsoring this personal project of yours. So that's sort of what it was like. I put together this project idea where I basically wanted to explore more mindful design practices and how to design more mindfully. Since my background is more in like e-commerce, that's where I got my start in UX. That's sort of what I wanted to transition to, was like a more problem solving and humane design mindset and all of that. So that is what I pitched. And then basically it was just like any other job, like a bunch of interviews. And I think it was like 7 interviews. And then finally I got an offer. So it's definitely not like any other job I've ever applied for. But at the same time, they do definitely treat it like a job. Like you are an Adobe employee for the 1 year and then you're just sort of in the community for life, even when they're not paying you anymore.
So I'm from El Paso, Texas, and our town I don't consider it like a big city, so the word UX is not very well known here. So I knew I needed to branch out and apply to other places. And because of Springboard, they showed me like, whoa, like there's a huge community of UX designers in San Francisco, California. And I was like, I really want to go there. But my husband's like, you try applying Phoenix too, because he lived there before. And I thought, okay, I never thought about Phoenix. Like I always thought, like the big tech companies. And even with Springboard, they took, we had a conference at LinkedIn, and I was like, whoa, this is LinkedIn. Like, I can't believe I'm here. And that's what my first introduction to like the tech space. When I started applying to jobs in Phoenix, I started getting like some of the recruiters from LinkedIn started like talking to me and be like, hey, would you like to like apply here? And this is our company, which we would like to talk to you about an interview. I'm like, what? Like in Phoenix? So I think like something was pulling me towards Phoenix, right? And that's where I started talking to people from different companies that were based in downtown Phoenix, and that's how I met with my boss.
So I was mostly looking in Chicago. I liked the fact that I could leverage the small network that I built up just being in Chicago for a few months and learning design here. And then I considered myself open to opportunities outside of Chicago as well. So Chicago's tech scene, I guess, can be characterized mostly as like B2B opportunities. We have a lot of like enterprise software, job opportunities, and things like that. So the types of problems as a product designer that you might be working on are kind of, in my opinion, they're really interesting. They have to do with like information architecture and more of like B2B problems versus potentially something that might be more like front end user facing, like a branding problem. So the industries that you'll find here in Chicago are like healthcare. I work in legal tech. We have a lot of fintech opportunities and things like that are like these big sort of complicated industry level problems that you're trying to solve using software. So I find it really intellectually challenging and fun.
Huge thanks again to Maddy, Brianna, and Natalie for sharing their day with me so I could share it with all of you. No matter where you live or where you're searching for design jobs, I think it's clear that each location has its own unique flair and, most importantly, offers unique opportunities to grow within your career. I think the truth is, this year's pandemic has changed our idea of work completely. When we all needed to stay home to stay safe, companies needed to figure out a way to make it work to stay afloat. And not all companies were in the position to move their entire workforce into a remote culture. But for the tech industry, there were a lot already in place to make it happen. So what happens next? Many big tech companies are now becoming fully remote, like Dropbox and Shopify, or hiring for roles in a much more remote-friendly way, like Twitter and Facebook. Although I'm still in San Francisco, I know a lot of people who have decided to move out of the city to find more affordable housing or to be closer to family. And since there's still a lot of uncertainties with the virus, many tech companies don't have any immediate plans to move everyone back into the office, which means remote work is the new norm for the foreseeable future. Which means these roles are becoming more accessible and affordable for more people. Like I said, I've loved living and working in San Francisco. Moving here changed my life. The design culture here is so strong, but who knows what that will look like moving forward. What I do know is this year has changed us, and with any big, gnarly problem, it may start off pretty brutal, but in the long term, I know it will have helped make us better. To anyone out there searching for a job, I wish you luck. That is all for now in today's video. I hope to see you next time. Bye.